Hello and welcome to a quick video on allocations and a few other things around that I think people will find kind of useful. Okay, so here's our grassland demo stable, and we've just added a couple of people to some bookings just to kind of show you the process. So you're obviously in the main stable page here, and there's two different places you can go in to do allocations. Firstly, if you're going into events, you just tap on the event section, scroll down to the lesson in question. So the ones I've done here are for Thursday lessons. So let's have a look here. We can just open up the lesson and we can allocate horses just by clicking here and selecting the horses. But there's a better place for doing this, and I'll show you this in a second. Just a couple of other things while I'm here, though. If you say, for example, you also want to ride at the same time as your client, for example, you can book yourself in just by going to add client to course. And then say, for example, say your name is Alicia, for example, you can basically select your own name, book yourself in, continue, add without payment, and then basically just plonk yourself into that lesson. And that means that now you'll be there too, and you can track the horse that you rode as well. So say you're riding Silver, for example, that tracks that horse allocation there. So that's a very handy way for if you're, say, for example, I know some places in the States and that they do a lot of these kind of training rides where they're riding horses for clients. That can be a very handy way to keep a track of that. Okay, so on top of that, another very useful thing is, say, for example, one of your clients is booked into the wrong lesson here, and say Anna maybe doesn't belong in this lesson, she belongs in the next lesson, or let's just say it's Blake, for example, we can basically move that client to another event, basically. So you can literally just click on that. Let's say that for all of these weeks they're in the wrong lesson, so you can just literally continue. So you can, if it's just 1 week you want to change them for, you can basically remove that selection and just pick the week in question that you want to change and click that, for example. But let's say that this is they've managed to book themselves into the wrong lesson. It's really easy to fix. Continue. And then this will say, okay, so which lesson is the correct lesson that you want to put them in? So let's say this is the right lesson for them to go into. Select that one. Actually, there's less. This is probably not the best example because there's less of these lessons to go. There's only two in this series, but you could basically go and you can select those two and plonk them into that lesson. Okay, it's very straightforward. So just follow that step, and then that's how you can really easily kind of fix a situation where someone's booked into the wrong lesson. But for now, let's just go ahead and I'll just show you the main allocation section. So best place to do that is go to your horse assign. This is one that's completed for today. So just once it's done, you can always run off your day plan just by hitting print. And then you just give this a second. Sorry, my internet's being a little bit slow. Then hit your open. And that's going to give you the name of the lesson, the time of the lesson, who's teaching it, who's writing it, and who they're writing, for example. So that can be your day list. You don't ever have to kind of print those off yourself anymore. But let's just go to a day where we haven't done the allocations. So here's a couple of examples I've set up. Now, the handy thing here is you can hover over the rider and you can see who they've ridden the last 5 times. If you need more detail than that, you can hit on the little person icon and that can open it up and you can see more details about their favorites and who they've ridden for on other occasions, going even further back than that. But let's say, for example, you just want to have the quick view and see who they've been riding recently. You'll also see down here little hearts beside. This is where the clients themselves have gone and marked their horse as a favorite or which horse they prefer. And so it's just a handy little indication for you if they've done it, and you can select that horse. Then you move on to the next person, and again you can hover and see who they've liked, and also you can say you see here who their favorites are. So let's just give a favorite here to Amelia. One of the things you'll notice here is as I'm selecting these hours, these number of hours here are clocking up on the left hand side. So this is just going to give you it's just helping you to see that you're kind of giving a fair spread to each horse, so that you're not overworking any particular horse, for example. Just so you know, with this, if you change your mind and say, oh, I didn't mean to give Bonnie two hours, you can literally just select on the person again and move them down. Oh, actually, I've done someone else for 2 hours. Move it to another horse. Let's go for Kiss here, and then move on to the next client, and so on and so on. What you'll see here with this red and white shading, all that is doing is that's indicating to you that either based off their height or their weight, and what you guys have selected as the height and weight and experience level of the client, that there might be a slight mismatch there. Now, obviously, it doesn't prevent you from allocating because we know you know your clients and we know you know your horses, but it's just there to give you an indication that maybe just might be worth taking a look at. Another thing you'll notice down here at the bottom, you'll see any horses that are unavailable that have been signed off work due to some sort of veterinary issue or something like that. That shows up here. It's kind of handy so it can prevent you from ever allocating a horse that's not actually available to work. All right, so we hope you found this useful. So once you've done your allocation, sorry, just finish it off. And once you've done them all, you can just then save your day plan, and then that's ready to print off to show you your who's riding what and when during the day. Okay, thanks.